Hello, history buffs. Ready for a journey back? Look at this encampment. The spirit of 76 is alive.
Freedom of future.
The true patriot savors these moments, but the fight for liberty calls.
To the encampment for freedom of future.
For liberty. This is what American patriotism is all about. Look at these flags. They represent our fight for liberty.
The hour our liberty is at hand. For freedom is brava. Secure our liberty. My fellow patriots, the hour of decision is upon us. Let us march forth with courage to secure our liberty.
Welcome to my colonial home. Today, Del Payne's work captures the spirit of we fight for independence. And our freedom. Greetings from the encampment. The spirit of liberty is strong. We will fight for our rights and our freedom.
Hour is late. We must enact. To the encampment for liberty. Soldiers, the enemy is near. Front line, flapping.
This morning, the escalating trade war between the U.S. and Canada after negotiations to reach a deal collapsed in the final hour. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney declaring his country is at war with the U.S.
You're at war when you get attacked. We got attacked.
President Trump has now imposed a 50% tariff on $20 billion of Canadian goods, including hockey sticks, furniture, textiles, building supplies, and alcohol. Trump writing on social media, Canada wants the benefits of being a state without being one. Canada firing right back, vowing to match the tariffs dollar for dollar, accusing the Trump administration of throwing curveballs at the 11th hour of negotiations. Ontario Premier Doug Ford says President Trump cannot be trusted.
President Trump is the type of person that would steal your lunch money the first day. He'd steal the toque off your head the second day, and the third day he'd steal your running shoes.
Starting September 8th, Canada will impose a 50% tariff on U.S. goods, everything from steel and dairy and clothes to plywood, alcohol, and electronics. President Trump's former Vice President Mike Pence warning American families and businesses will bear the brunt.
American businesses and American consumers pay American tariffs. And I think the last thing we need right now, as our economy is getting back on its feet, is a trade war with Canada.
Some small business owners on edge. Michael Howard owns a custom furniture shop in Warren, Michigan.
We're a small family-owned business. We just can't absorb that impact of cost, so we have to pass it down to our customers and essentially give them the decision like, are you okay with moving forward on this project with this dramatically increased cost of lumber?
The trade war only adding to the economic uncertainty. Oil prices are on the rise amid the ongoing war with Iran, and America's debt hit an unprecedented $40 trillion. The midterm election less than 75 days away, the president now trying to lower costs, suddenly announcing he was suspending tariffs on imported ground beef. But a growing number of Republicans, including Ashley Henson of Iowa, who's running in one of the most competitive Senate races, says that's the wrong move.
We need to focus on affordability, but I think this isn't the way to do that.
So one of the big questions now, can the U.S. and Canada get these talks back on track before those tariffs imposed on U.S. goods?
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Party. Why I like the new party? Number one, it's a group of people that's on a panel. We all have differences, but we all basically still come together at the end of the day. The new party for me is about unity. The new party for me is about educating people to the truth, letting people know what's been going on in our country. With that being said, shout out to the new party, man. We're gonna keep it going with y'all.
On to the new party, Ray Mars.
I'm skeptic.
It's Mia.
85.
So we got you good. We gotta get everybody's thoughts on this. So Slim, I'll start with you. What you think of the Canada trade war?
Hey, again, my dog is in action. We at war. He trying to get a bag from somewhere. I don't get into the fear mongering and all this crazy stuff, because every time he's involved, we were supposed to be slaves and a whole bunch of shit was supposed to happen. The last tariff situation could be a bluff. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I don't react based on the first responses. I want to see how it plays out, and at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. I believe Canada gonna play ball.
Okay, for sure. Mia, what about you?
Tariffs have yet to work. Donald Trump's tariffs that he has applied this second term have yet to work. It has never driven down the cost of anything. Commonly known fact is 33% of the lumber used in the United States is Canadian lumber. So you are actually compounding the housing crisis in the United States by entering in a tariff war with Canada, because now they are forced to rise their prices. So now American companies have to pay more for lumber than they did 5 or 6 years ago, or even 2 years ago. So now it's more expensive to build because 33%. We're talking if America builds 100 million houses, 33 of those are going to be more expensive off the jump because the materials are from Canada. This tariff war has not positively impacted Americans, and we have actually yet to see any sort of tariff refund, even though the tech companies have all gotten their hundreds of billions of dollars. We have yet to see our tariff refund that we were told 2 years ago would come during tax season. Now we're told again it's going to come during next tax season. So it just doesn't make sense to why we're arguing or we're fighting with Canada. And also another commonly known fact is Canada holds over $459 billion worth of U.S. Treasury bonds. And if Canada really wants to say, fuck you, they can call in those bonds. That's $459 billion the United States would have to pay Canada, which we don't have the money for. The United States actually does not have $459 billion. We don't have it at all whatsoever. So, I mean, it's like a weird situation to be fighting with our neighbors like this when they need us just as much as we need them. And to be honest, I mean, I don't know about you guys. I see Canadians all the time. They're not bad people. I don't know why we're beefing with them like that. Like, they come down here and spend a fuck ton of money. Because taxes are so much more high in Canada, they literally come here and buy our goods because they pay less in taxes. So I don't know why we're like de-incentivizing these people and hurting local communities. Like New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont, Massachusetts lost out on billions of dollars because Canadians refused to cross the border to purchase. So now you're hurting. And I'm sure Wisconsin, Minnesota, North Dakota, Washington, Oregon, Northern California, they're feeling it too. So why are you hurting local economies? That's less people that are hired, less kids that are working, less money to go on the road through taxes. So it's like, why are you hurting us? We didn't do anything wrong. And the Canadians have done nothing wrong either. It just doesn't make any sense at this point in time.
This is what the Prime Minister had to say about it.
U.S. tariffs are designed to hurt us and divide us. I warned that America is trying to break us so they can own us. And I promised that that will never, ever happen. And while we believed earlier this week that we were moving towards a mutually beneficial agreement, in recent days, the United States proposed new terms that were uneconomic, unfair, and undermined the net benefits for Canada and called into question the reliability of any deal. In short, they asked too much and they offered too little. Let me be clear. We take this step reluctantly. Reluctantly because we recognize that some of these measures will raise costs and reduce choice for Canadians. Reluctantly because we recognize that some U.S. companies and some U.S. states are innocent bystanders in a dispute that they did not want. Reluctantly because this trade dispute is preventing Canada and America from doing so much good that we could do together. But at the same time, we take this step confident that it is in the best interest of Canada, and that by rejecting a bad deal, by standing up for Canada, by focusing on what we can control, we will build Canada strong for all.
Skeptic, what's your thoughts on the Canada trade war, what the Prime Minister had to say?
Number one, I think that our president is an idiot. And the reason why he has bankrupted so many of his companies is because his arrogance is before common sense. Like, we have known historically, whenever the Holly tariffs were used during that time, world trade went down by 60%. Not only is he going to help the Democrats, so bravo to him for being so stupid, because midterms are coming up, and all of these states that are bordering Canada are going to be affected by this. We import electricity from Canada. I don't know, people know that. But they can apply a tariff back on us on the things that we import crude oil from them. We import, like Mia just said, we import wood from them to build houses, to build furniture. We cannot grow that wood. It takes years, decades to grow those trees. It's a specific type of wood that we have to use to build houses for plywood. We cannot grow it here. The only trees that we have that are similar to those are protected because they are in like rainforests and stuff that here the government protects them. So there's no way that we can substitute in the things that we need from Canada. So they're going to retaliate towards us if we place a tariff the way that other countries have done. The price is going to go up on consumers. We had talked about this before, prior to him putting all of these reciprocal tariffs that were not true. He was lying to us. But we actually saw when I had said that it's kind of like a trickle-down effect. The company is not going to take a hit. They're not going to pay for you, right? They're not going to lose profit. So capitalism is going to cause for the consumer to have to pay more for these products. Now, all of these, like Mia was saying, all of these border states with Canada, which are a lot of their goods and services are tied to Canada, whether or not we know it. Like, there are things that we can't even think about right now that some people don't understand have ties to Canada that they will have to continue to buy. If Canada, which I believe they will, puts a reciprocal tariff on their goods, like, a lot of these states will go bankrupt. We have plenty of states that are already bankrupt because of the things this man is doing. This will be terrible for all of those states. It will increase the prices on things, even for us, but particularly for those states. And then midterms will come around and they're going to be pissed and they're going to vote for Democrats. So you know what? Honestly, for the first time ever, I'm going to say do it. I'm going to say go for it, Trump. Hurt the American people more. I live in Texas. So, I mean, you know what I mean? It's like cause and effect. At this point, he's not going to stop. There's no talking common sense to him because he doesn't care. He's not affected by this. He laughs at us. He says this is a hoax. That, what is it? The fact that things have gone up in price is a hoax. So, I mean, you know, it's what people voted for. The ignorance in this man will not stop. Like, we have a conflict going on. We have invaded other nations. We have broken laws. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And if you think that this is fear mongering, go buy groceries. Go to the grocery store, make you a list, and go buy them groceries and see how much fear mongering that it's reality.
And you brought up hold on one second. And you brought up a good point about the stuff that we get from Canada that people don't think about. So 60 to 62% of all crude oil imported into the United States, which means from outside coming in, is Canadian crude oil. 4 million barrels a day. So if they just decided to say F us and maybe they want to levy a tariff on us, a lot of people are already paying over $4 a gallon. You know how much money it's going to be now? 4 million barrels a day, 60 to 62% of imported crude oil daily comes from Canada because obviously they're our next door neighbor. So there are a lot of ramifications to having our relationship with Canada go sour, especially for border states, as Skeptic brought up. I mean, I live in a border state. We do share electricity with Canada. Canada does supply a lot of upstate New York, Wisconsin, Minnesota, North Dakota, all of these places. Like we do share utilities. So if they decided to be assholes for families that can barely feed themselves, like I get it. Donald Trump said he don't give a fuck about us financially. He said it words right out of his mouth. He don't give a fuck about us. He don't care. But I mean, it comes to the point in time where it's like we have to start caring for ourselves at this point in time. Like if the president's not going to care and he doesn't care how much it hurts us, he doesn't care how much it costs us to live, he doesn't care, then we have to start caring and we have to start doing something. Nothing changes if nothing changes.
Also, this isn't strategic for the people in the. This is not strategic. Because if you were thinking politically, you would not do this right before midterms. We're 70 days away from midterms. How like idiotic do you have to be? You are handing over wins to the Democrats. Like, are you serious? You're going to make life even more unaffordable for all of the states that border Canada? Okay. It's crazy.
So one of the big things people are saying is that Trump is doing this to make Canada the 51st state. So this is what J.D. Vance had to say.
Canada and China have been the two worst countries when it comes to trade policy anywhere in the world. What a shame that is. China, you of course expect. They're our biggest economic competitor. I would expect that from China. I would not expect that from Canada. We have to remember, Canada is a state. Sorry, Freudian slip. That was actually an accident. Canada is a country that has underinvested in its military that quite literally would get invaded by country were it not for the umbrella of protection provided by the United States of America. So how does Canada actually respond to that? By treating the people of Maine fairly? No. They apply ridiculous tariffs and other non-tariff duties on Maine products coming into Canada, and they don't expect Maine or anybody else to fight back. We're sick of that. We are actually going to fight back against unfair trade practices, whether it's coming from China or Canada. Now, and let me just give you a very, very simple and concrete example. If you buy dairy, cheese, butter, milk that comes from Canada into Maine, you probably are buying a product that has 0% tariffs on it. Okay. And by the way, if Canada applied 0%, that would be one thing. But if a Maine farmer sends dairy products into Canada, they could be paying as much as a 250. Now, how is it fair to the farmers of Maine that they pay 250% when Canadian farmers pay nothing? That unfairness is something that we just have to fix. And here's what happened with the most recent round of negotiations. They're still ongoing, and I want to be respectful of the process. But we know that Canada allows itself to be used as a backdoor for Chinese goods. They treat Chinese goods more fairly than they do the goods that come from the people of Maine. It's insanity. And what we've said to Canada is stop it. Apply a basic principle of fairness to the trade that you're doing between North Dakota and Canada, between Maine and Canada. And what happened at the very end is they came in with a bunch of unreasonable last-minute demands. I frankly thought we had a deal. I think that we should have a deal, but I think that we need to send a message loud and clear to the Prime Minister of Canada. Stop taking advantage of the people of Maine. Stop taking advantage of America. It's over. We expect fairness in our trade policy.
All right. So does anybody want Canada to be the 51st state?
I don't think Canada wants to be the 51st state. They have healthcare, universal healthcare. Like, why do they want to come to the United States? Millions of America are going to Mexico to get their teeth.
Yo, Mia,
Mm-hmm.
can you pull up that clip where Trump said he don't care about the American people? I want to start there. And send it over to Gray and have Gray play it because I want to hear exactly what he said. That's the first thing. The second thing is we go through this shit like, each and every month. You know what I mean? It's always a new country. Always something to worry about. Like last month, you know, what's up with Iran? Nobody want to talk about the war in Iran. That's still going on now. Keep that in mind. But now we're on to something new. You know, everything's going up. It was gas, you know, last month. Nobody talk about the gas no more. Before that, it was the eggs. You know, like everything is always a worry. And yes, it is fear mongering because this shit is always working. It's like TDS kicks in. It's because it's this administration. Everything goes down and is always negative. Nobody sits and waits to see what's going on. Now, to keep it G with you, I'm looking at everything like, okay, this is probably supposed to take place. Number one, we in a situation where I'm sure that all these angles that you, Mia, think about, I'm sure the administration has thought about. And no matter what you do, is going to be a consequence to every action. Nothing is going to be perfect. And at the same time, it's so funny how we as Americans, we sit back and we enjoy everything that America has to offer. But none of us can literally say that there was ever a president that gave us everything we actually voted for. I don't think there's one American that can literally sit here and say that. But for some reason, everything that this man does is always fucked up. But he still won. I don't get it. But find that clip, though. Find that clip, please. Because that's important. Because what we do, we just think this man is saying whatever, and we call him stupid, call him idiot. He's the fucking president. He can't be that stupid. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see that popping off. That's like an embarrassment to your country.
Mr. President, to what extent are Americans' financial?
All right, are we ready? Is your volume up?
I want to hear this shit myself. I want to hear what he said.
All right, hold on. I'm rewinding it to the front. We're going to play it from the top.
With Iran, Mr. President, to what extent are Americans' financial situations motivating you to make a deal?
Not even a little bit. The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about Americans' financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about one thing. We cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. That's all. That's the only thing.
So that's the only thing you got out of that is what he said about the financial situation? That's more important than the nuclear weapon?
They didn't have a nuclear weapon. I mean, they didn't have a nuclear weapon. You can't be 45 years and 2 weeks away for 45 years from having a nuclear weapon. I mean, Bibi Netanyahu has been coming to the United States since 1996 saying that Iran is close to having a nuclear weapon. It's not literally possible. They never had a nuclear weapon. They weren't even close to having a nuclear weapon. And then we actually already bombed them and used those bunker busters last year per the United States President and Secretary Hegseth already stated that it was that we obliterated them. And that is quotations from them. So how are they close to a nuclear weapon when we obliterated their nuclear capabilities? And we already took care of that last year. It is not possible. This is why I have such a hard time talking with people, because they cannot think in a linear line.
Is that
it's not possible.
You have the audacity to believe that this president doesn't care about the American people's finances.
He literally just said he didn't care about their financial situation.
Man,
I can't make it more simple.
Do you really believe that? Because now it's like,
I do.
It's so funny.
Name one good thing that he's done.
Negative is so highlighted, but everything he says positive is overlooked or he's lying. What the fuck?
I'm not saying he hasn't said anything positive. When he says positive things,
nobody give him props on the things he do positive. The moment he say that shit was months ago, that shit was a while. That little statement, that shit is the broad spectrum of everything. After everything this man's been doing, you bugging right.
What do you mean been doing? He hasn't done a single positive thing in the last 6 months. He hasn't even signed any legislation, major legislation, in over a year. We're about to set up a battleground, not only for midterms, but also for the budget that's coming up as well. The man hasn't done anything besides golf and starve our sailors in the Gulf, starve our sailors in the GCC. And then they have the audacity and want $1.5 trillion, and we can't even fucking feed our soldiers. That is so crazy to me. But he eats well and he pisses and shits on a golden pot. I've seen it on a documentary. But all of a sudden our soldiers can't eat food. They don't have hot water. They don't have sanitary conditions. But I mean, when he does something worthwhile, then we can give him his roses and we can give him his congratulations. But in the last 6 months, he hasn't done anything noteworthy that has been helpful to us. He even refused to sign a bipartisan housing bill because he wants the SAVE Act, knowing that the SAVE Act is not going to be passed. He could have just signed that bipartisan housing bill just to give the bread and cheese and crumbs to the people, but instead he'd rather not. He knows the SAVE Act's not going to be passed. There's not enough votes. There's never going to be enough votes because the Republicans have screwed up so badly that the Democrats are going to win by default. That's where we are in this country. The Democrats are winning by default, not because they're better, not because they're smarter. They're winning by default because President Trump and his merry band of pedophiles have fucked up so badly that they're going to hand the Democrats a win. And somehow the Democrats are still going to fuck it up.
It's so beautiful how we live in
It's
this
crazy,
country.
bro. That's
We
the
can
world we live in.
literally talk about the leader like that and just chill and go back to bed and be good, right? Like, at the end of the day, like that's really what other countries suffer. They can't talk about their leader like this. They probably get their head chopped off. But that's irrelevant.
Isn't
That's
that the
irrelevant.
fundamentals of America? Is the freedom of speech? Isn't that like the
Exactly.
preamble?
I mean, yo,
So
you
that
gotta love it,
constitutes,
right?
yeah, that
You
constitutes
gotta
our
love it, right?
freedoms.
So,
That's what makes America, you know,
okay, so
supposed
do
to be
you
the
do
land of
you
the free.
think
Don't worry, the
do
FBI
you
is going to be
think
knocking on my
do
door, I'm
you think
sure.
all of those rights will be stripped from us based on what you guys are saying? This is the direction that I see that you guys believe in your heads, that everything that we're dealing with in life, because this man is in office, we're going to be stripped of everything as we know it as American citizens. Is that
That's
really
not
what
what I
you
said
believe?
at all. I didn't say we were stripped of anything. I just basically said he's not doing a good job. And until I think he's doing a good job, he's not going to get any concessions from me. I will stay on every motherfucker's neck because that's what I'm supposed to do per my
What about
freedom
the
of
war,
speech.
right?
But, you know, the United
What
States
about
as
the war?
well, the FBI set up a whole new task force using AI to go after people like us. So I'm sure the FBI will be
What
knocking on
about
my
the
door tomorrow,
Iran
wondering why I
situation?
was talking shit.
You're gonna
What
go
Because
about
have
heaven
the
forbid.
war? What about the war? We
You're
was
probably
like, we're
already
gonna
off
lose
on
the
them.
war. We're gonna lose the war. I mean,
We
what
are
happened?
losing the war. We haven't won a single thing. We have not
So that,
won a
all right,
single
so
thing.
that goes
Name
back
one
to
thing in this
that
Iran
goes
war
back
we've
to what
won.
I'm saying. That goes back to what I'm saying. Do you think, based on everything that you have said about this president, what he hasn't done, do you think that he's doing everything to strip us of our rights as American citizens?
Well, could we
Everything.
stay on topic though when it comes to inflation? Because we were talking about, we're pivoting off to something else. Did Donald Trump run on lowering inflation? Yes or no, Slim?
Every president runs on that. What do you
No,
mean?
but that was one of his fundamentals that he ran
But
on.
that
Whenever
that's
he was
that's
when he was
every
running for
president.
re-election, he ran and he promised that he was going to get rid of inflation. He literally gave a cutoff like I don't know how many days, and then he said that inflation was a hoax. So which one is it?
The reality is, if you as a human being, if you believe a person can literally say we're going to get rid of inflation, that's crazy on your part. For you to even think that that can
So
happen.
he lied?
It ain't about him lying. It's about you believing that shit. Like at the end of the day, what he's done other things that basically, you know, on my part, because what I voted for,
So
he's done everything
wait,
I've
so if
asked for.
someone says I'm gonna be
Now,
faithful to you and you believe him, it's
as
your
far as the
fault
inflation, I
for
don't look
believing
at that because again, we live in a country where we can double up. If we in a situation, we actually have the ability to work another job, to get a hustle, to do other things to make extra income. Not saying we have to do that, but we do live in a country that we can do that. So we have two options. We go either go get it or complain. I choose not to complain. So the things that you worry about, maybe I don't see it because I know there's other ways to counter that shit when we talk about inflation. Because before him, shit was going up. Remember,
Yeah,
I was
right,
a
right,
truck
right.
driver.
So he
I
ran.
remember when gas was 89 cents a gallon. I could even sit here and talk to you guys every week and tell you how gas was 89 cents a gallon, or I'm gonna get money to pay for my goddamn gas. That's just how it was. Trump wasn't in office back then. You
Right,
see
right.
what I'm saying? Like we have to adapt to this shit. And that's why I love being an American, because at the end of the day, we have that control within that we can adapt to any situation. But if we complain about that shit, how the fuck we gonna move forward looking in the
But
rear
wait,
view? There's no way
wait.
we can do that shit.
The beautiful thing about America is that it's a democracy, right? The fundamentals of a democracy means that the people vote in representation, and that representation is supposed to do the things that the people want. We're not a monarchy. We don't have a king that comes in and says, well, I'm going to do whatever I want to do. I'm not going to follow the rules. No, this is what makes America great. So if he promised, as a person who was going to be elected, he was going to get rid of inflation, and people said, yay, eggs are going to go down. I remember having this conversation with people that support the current administration. Eggs are going to go down. Gas is going to be cheap again. I need life to be affordable. The man gets in office. He first goes to war with Iran and says they obliterated them. He lied to you in your face because they didn't obliterate them. He then goes back and gets in a conflict again and rips up the JCPOA, which was an agreement we already had with Iran. Then he says that actually, because prices are going up, it's actually not real. It's a hoax. Inflation is a hoax, people. What do you mean? How dare you ask me to bring down? Go get an extra job.
Respectfully,
go work
your
2 jobs
point-
so you can pay for gas.
Respectfully, your point is taken. And at the end of the day, hold on, I'm gonna land the plane real quick.
Yeah.
And what she's saying is 100% correct. But here's the reality of that shit. When this entire situation went down with Trump back in 2016, I wasn't involved with politics, right? What I always used to see was people getting upset because whatever they voted for never came into fruition. That's what I used to see coming up as a child. Until this president, okay? Now I got more into politics. Now I got more into government, who's the mayor in certain states. Until this president, now I started to learn about what they were doing within the elections all these years, the last 50 years. But it's this president that's calling it out. But all this shit that he got to fix is what I'm looking at. I feel what you're saying, but there's so much that's been damaged. There's so much manipulation that we've encountered as American people before this administration, before him, that we have to uncover and fix. And that's what he's trying to do. But the problem is everybody got to get it overnight. Everybody need that instant gratification, that American shit. You see what I'm saying? That's where we are with it. But we ain't looking at it from that lens. We looking at it from, oh, well, he said this and he said no. We got to look at everything that he had to go through. They tried to kill this nigga.
Yeah, but again, you pivot, Slim, because
it ain't about pivot,
the
it's
conflict
reality,
with
yo.
Iran, the
That's
conflict
the
with
thing.
Iran was uncalled for. It was illegal because he didn't go through Congress to get approval to go into this war. And then they said it wasn't a war. Well, don't call it a war. It's just a conflict. It turns out it's a war. He didn't go through the proper channels. He didn't follow the Constitution. On top of it was unnecessary. It was unnecessary. We did not have a reason. There's a direct correlation between the time that we go into conflict and how gas prices go up. This was not by accident.
I'm gonna play one clip before you go ahead, Slim, because we keep bringing up other presidents.
Okay, go ahead.
And Donald Trump is constantly compared to Ronald Reagan. So this is what Ronald Reagan had to say about trade.
Our peaceful trading partners are not our enemies. They are our allies. We should beware of the demagogues who are ready to declare a trade war against our friends, weakening our economy, our national security, and the entire free world, all while cynically waving the American flag. The expansion of the international economy is not a foreign invasion. It is an American triumph, one we worked hard to achieve, and something central to our vision of a peaceful and prosperous world of freedom. After the Second World War, America led the way to dismantle trade barriers and create a world trading system that set the stage for decades of unparalleled economic growth. Yes, back in 1776, our founding fathers believed that free trade was worth fighting for, and we can celebrate their victory because today, trade is at the core of the alliance that secure the peace and guarantee our freedom. It is the source of our prosperity and the path to an even brighter future for America. Until next week, thanks for listening, and God bless you.
Now, Ronald Reagan basically said that we're supposed to still have free trade, and Trump literally stole "Make America Great Again" from Ronald Reagan. So it is different than some other Republicans and even some Democrats as far as free trade. Why you laughing? You don't like Ronald Reagan?
Yo, you said he stole it from him, yo.
He did. I'm telling you, he did.
All right, yo, did Kamala steal a speech from somebody? Did somebody from the Democrat Party steal something? Yeah, yo, come on, man. Stop. Leave him alone, bro. You kill me with that TDS shit. Yo, that shit crazy.
But it's
I'm a-
anti-capitalistic. Like if you say that you're a
Oh,
capitalist,
shit.
for those that believe in capitalism, um, you would believe in the free market and you wouldn't believe in tariffs. You would be anti-tariff because tariffs are a government tax that is being imposed on imported goods. So you can't be a capitalist and be anti-socialism and be advocating for socialism, which is the government imposing a tax on a trade to discourage you from buying certain things or to try to do exactly what they're doing, attack a country.
I'm just 100% American. That's what it is. Even when my country is wrong, I'm gonna stand by my country. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to tell y'all. That's how I roll. I'm loyal like that.
But how do we hold the government accountable? Can the government ever be wrong?
Absolutely. They was wrong when they gave that vaccine to people.
So
Yes.
how did we hold the government accountable for
Oh, it's
being wrong?
coming. It's coming. The problem is we focus on the bullshit. But let the show go on.
So let's get to the beef because I'm hearing it might be horse meat. I don't know. So let's get to what the beef is coming into the country, what Trump paying for.
Is turning his attention to rising costs for voters today, announcing what he calls a deal to substantially lower the price of ground beef for working American families. The president said on social media that the U.S. will allow up to 300,000 metric tons of product for ground beef to be imported with no out-of-quota tariff. And he said that we have a commitment that this beef will be sold at 25% below current market prices. But all this presents something of a mystery here, guys. In his social media post, the president didn't say who he had concluded this deal with, and he did not specify who exactly had made a commitment to sell that below market beef. Now, CNBC has reached out to the White House with questions about this. We've gotten no response so far, and we are contacting the major beef importers to see if any of those companies will confirm that they are party to an agreement with the White House. We'll let you know if we get any more information, guys. But overall, this really symbolizes the president's concern going into those midterm elections that prices are still too high for consumers, and he's signaling he wants to do something about it.
All right, Mia, you hoarding fruits and vegetables. What do we do with the meat? How do we get good meat? How do we save meat? How do we prepare for the end times with no meat?
I mean, it's not about it's not about having no meat. I mean, chicken, pork, rabbit. I mean, there's all sorts of options. You don't have to have beef. Obviously, I love beef. I have nothing against beef at all whatsoever. But I do have something against this mystery beef that nobody knows where it comes from. And then you see the next headline that China just stopped a shipment of Argentinian beef because it was infected with some sort of forever chemicals that are illegal. And then all of a sudden, in the same breath, we're getting 300 metric tons of beef that we don't know where it's from, but we also know that we bailed out the Argentinian farmers with all that money last year. So odds are it's Argentine beef. We have a pretty good relationship with them. I bet it's Argentine beef. But it doesn't really help American farmers if we undercut them and then we force them to close up shop. I mean, 90 days doesn't seem like a long time, but when you're a farmer, 90 days is a make or break season. These people need to get as much money as they possibly can through the sale of their livestock in order to procure more livestock, to get the feed, and to do what needs to be done. Plus, they have taxes. They have all their other general overhead in these bills. It just doesn't seem like the right thing to do to undercut Americans with foreign imports. It seems very just not American. I'm all for Americans getting a dollar, but why are we not helping our farmers directly and giving them the relief that they need so they can drop their prices and helping them out? That way the American farmer gets help and the American taxpayer can feel good about it. Instead, we're importing foreign in order to undercut American to hurt American in the long run and in the short run. So it just doesn't make sense to me.
So this is what Trump said about the Argentinian beef.
Question is, what do you have to say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, as they are?
Argentina's fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it. Fighting for their life. Nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting for their life. You understand what that means? They have no money. They have no anything. They're fighting so hard to
Wow, sounds like us.
help them survive.
Shit, Slim, I had to get a second job too. I'm fighting for my life over here as well. Where's my sympathy? What the fuck? I pay taxes on time.
All right, they're dying.
What do you mean by beef? Question is, what do you have to say?
So y'all go get some of that horse meat that Trump about to import.
Hold on, someone in the comments said boycott maple syrup. Like we don't like. I don't have maple trees in my backyard. Like we don't like the majority of the maple syrup in the United States don't come from the United States. Everybody acts like we import so much from Canada. Like, come on. I mean, we have it here.
I'm gonna go vegetarian. I'm a meat eater. If you know, my blood type, I have to have protein or I can't I can't work, I can't function. But let me tell you, I will go vegetarian before I start. With all the recalls that we have currently, all these recalled foods, we can't even, no eggs, no blueberries, no, you can't have popsicles, can't have sandwich meat. Slim be
Can't have
leaving the
lettuce,
US, but we over here,
arugula.
we have no lettuce. We fighting for our lives. Like me instead. What about me? I'm fighting.
And we're
for my
supposed to
life
be
over
eating
here.
healthy. All those people on Ozempic can't even eat a fucking salad.
Yeah, the people that got the explosive D. I mean, we fighting for our lives over here. I'm sorry. The FDA, they lost 7,000 employees under the Doge department. All of this, it's like if you follow the little path, it'll take you back to like the implementation of bad policy. I don't know what to say, but we are affected. Effectively, I'm not leaving America, right? I don't go to another country. I don't even I own property, but not in another country. So, the things that happen here affect me as an American. I've come to the understanding of that. Like, I care for my country because my children will be raised here. My family is here in America. I'm not going anywhere else. That's why I fight so hard for things to kind of be done right. And I mean, I don't know. It's crazy. I really don't get it. Everything that was argued for, make America great again, America first. What? What is going on? I thought it was supposed to be America first. Why are we putting other farmers, foreign farmers, Argentinian farmers first? I don't get it.
Skepta, you brought up a good point, and I will play a video that you actually reposted. And Slim, I'd want to go to you first to hear about this, because even 50 Cent complained about the FDA and RFK on all these recalls. So here's a list of all the recalls.
I guaranteed you're going to want to save this because this is the full list of recalls for 2026. Frozen berries, iceberg lettuce, shell eggs, mixed berries, pistachio nut butter, green powder supplements,
shell eggs. Are there any other
soup
type of
kits
eggs?
and salad dressings,
Shelled
granola,
eggs.
dog food, jalapeno peppers, salmon
Even
products,
the
cream
dog.
cheese
Dog
and
food is
tofu
crazy.
spreads, chicken dog treats, yellowfin tuna, organic cheese seeds, green superfood supplements,
chia seeds.
tamales, shrimp paste, chocolate bars, sea moss gel superfood, cheese product, infinite formula, potato chips, pork rind and seasoned products, snack
got the pork
mixes,
rind?
sour cream and onion cheese curls,
That's all my
flavored
dad ate when I was a
popcorn
kid, by the way.
seasoning,
He smoked Black and Miles and ate
coleslaw
pork rinds.
products, pita chips, chocolate bars, white cheddar seasoning, peeled garlic. At this point, it ain't shit safe to eat. I feel like everything that I didn't name at one time or another I didn't purchase, but not anymore. But inquiring minds want to know, what's safe to eat? When you find out, let me know. Count me out.
All right, Slim, how you feel about all this stuff getting recalled?
That nigga probably took the vaccine too. Anyway, yo, check it out, yo. All right. This is Trump's fault. That's the first thing I need to add. Are we blaming Trump for this too? So I'll be on the same page. So, is this Trump's fault, or is this you're asking my opinion, what I think in general?
It's RFK fault, who was in Trump's administration. He's the head of the FDA.
Okay, so is RFK fault that all this shit is poison, or all is it being recalled because it's poison? Because remember, he just got in. I don't think he poisoned all that shit on his own. I don't think this administration has something to do with the poison. Maybe they trying to let us know it's been bad for us, and they've been trying to get it off the shelves, but now we just getting it off the shelves. Like, we don't want to think about it like that, like at all. Like, it just, because it's this administration, it has to be the other way around. Nah, we got to think deeper. Why now? Why is it being recalled? It's not like it's being imported. It's being recalled. There's a reason it's being recalled. Understand that. So they gave this man a position for a reason. This Dr. Fauci nigga seemed like he ain't the one, is what I'm saying. Like, you know, he seemed like he ain't for us, is what I'm saying, as you have seen. So why is it being recalled? That's my question. Go ahead.
Does everyone remember the Doge department? Do we still remember waste, fraud, and abuse? So, surprisingly, they let go of 7,000 FDA employees.
Why?
Because supposedly this was fraud. So we are right now. What are we, like, halfway through the year? If we stay on this course, I think we have 162 recalls right now. If we add another 162, we'll be like at 300 and like what 24 recalls by the end of the year. Which I think like what I think it's a combination of things that's making people kind of unhinged, right? It's the fact that prices are going up. It's the fact that you have to spend. Man, when I bought supplies this year, I never complain about the prices of things. I spend a lot of money on one child. I was just like, how are people with multiple children surviving right now? Because I think about my community. And then like you have all of this pressure you're putting on people, plus telling them my daughter loves like boiled eggs and pepperoni and like certain things that she wants for lunch, and all that stuff is recalled. Yeah, people are upset. Like, it's just like whether or not it's their fault, I'll give it to you, Slim. It may not be this administration's fault, but it's like a multitude of things where people are fed up and they're just like they're going to blame the administration that is, has the power to do things. So if they're not coming out and addressing it, then it is their fault.
I agree.
Mia, what were you going to say?
So I agree with what Skeptic's saying, and I also agree with Swim. Like, I mean, obviously we've had recalls before Trump was ever president. There's always like rolling recalls. You know what I mean? And I will say, to give a little bit of credit, because we're all so tuned in, maybe we are noticing it more than we did before, which could absolutely be the case with a lot of people. I will say that is one piece. The second piece is the deregulation that a lot of this stuff has undergone, because they've gone through and they have deregulated a lot of the criteria, the protocols, and the metrics when it comes to a lot of these veggies. And then we scared all of, I hate to say this, the immigrants that came over here or would come over here to work these fields. So we went from having a surplus of people that would come over here to work these fields to have fewer people. Well, fewer people means fewer bathroom breaks, fewer breaks in general, which means people are pissing and shitting. Where do you think E. coli comes from?
Use your head. Where do you think E. coli comes from, bro? It comes from fucking fecal matter. So if there's E. coli on your kale or your arugula or your tomatoes, it's because somebody is pissing and shitting on them.
And then we lost 7,000 employees. So a lot of this testing that would be done on site is not being done on site. So we have people are paying more attention. We have the deregulation. We have the lack of literal bodies, which means the people that are left are not getting the proper breaks and so on and so forth. They are pissing and shitting in the fields and in the factories and all of these places. And then we have the lack of American workers who would take these jobs to actually put forth the regulation and the standardization of this whole circle. So there's a lot of pieces here, but we have to be honest. 3 of these pieces all link back to the administration, right? One piece is we are noticing more because we're paying attention and we're tuned in, but the other 3 pieces link back into the current administration because they wanted to fire a bunch of people, which I'm all for getting rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. I have no problem with that. I think our government is naturally overinflated. I have no problem. However, food is a very important, vital thing that we need to survive. Food, water, and air. Those are the 3 sectors that we should never fire anybody, because we need people in the forest, we need people in the fields, we need people literally what's going on with the air and the water. But instead we fired all those people, and now we're having these compounding issues coupled with the deregulation, which is good for big corporate business, but bad for tiny humans who end up with cancer. I mean, they have an entire cancer alley in Louisiana where if you live down this certain stretch of highway, 100 miles out on either side, you're like 95% likely to have cancer. And that's due to deregulation because all this toxic waste gets spewed in the air, the food supply, and the water supply. Because people don't realize water does what? It goes down and it goes into the water table and then it leaches everywhere else into all the other aquifers around it. So, yeah, it's kind of the administration's fault. And yeah, it's kind of our fault for tuning in.
For sure. Slim, I'm going to give you a clip on what you want to talk about. Enes Kanter gets ejected from the WNBA game for a shirt he has.
Point basketball game. Chicago staying in it. Natasha Cloud. And right before the break, this was the scene inside Wintrust Arena after Natasha Cloud got that bucket. She wanted her voice heard. We have talked about the conversations surrounding the W. That is Enes Kanter in the building today. And he has voiced how he's felt about the situation. Natasha Cloud voicing her opinion as well. Kanter was just escorted out. 6.
What the shirt say?
It said woman's a noun, and as you know, he tried to get drafted in the WNBA trying to say he was a trans. I know we missed that show, so what's your thoughts?
I love it. It's our time to troll. I love it. That's how I'm looking at it. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's funny as hell what they doing. I mean, yo, the WNBA, they brought it on themselves. They put the statement out, and some people reacted. It's a freedom of speech, right? We can do what we want. We can identify what we want. It is what it is. So let's play ball. Hey, I'm going to tell you like this. I'm going to be a WNBA fan. Definitely going to be watching the games now. Now we're talking. Yeah.
So this was his response to him getting ejected.
Cunningham shot a 3, and I put my hands up to celebrate, right? Literally a couple positions later, Natasha came back and started screaming and yelling and said, she's not going to sleep with you. I just got up, and then I was like, I'm just here to protect women, and that's all, right? And then she started to yell. She started to use some very heavy language. She started to actually cuss. And I was very shocked that there were a lot of kids and there were a lot of teenagers was at that game. And I just cannot believe that she was just cussing and using those F-bombs in front of all these kids. Security guy, came, and then I was like, listen, you need to leave. I was like, can you please tell me why do I need to leave? They said, look, you just need to leave. And they literally, I don't want to say they dragged me, but like they pretty much like pushed me to leave the gym.
So Mia, is this performative or is he really trying to like fix the WNBA?
Oh, shit.
I just want to go one day in my life without hearing about the alphabet soup people or anything laterally connected to them. I am so fucking over it. I want to go 24 hours without being in their business. 24 hours. I don't want to know. I don't care. I don't know why we have to constantly be in these people's business. I don't even know what the big deal is. I mean, I don't get it. I don't know why people are upset. A woman is a female, has a uterus. I mean, can get uterine cancer, cervical cancer. I mean, it's like simple. I don't know if that's offensive to other people. I don't know. But I just want to go 24 hours without being in these people's business.
Enes Kanter and Royce White is trying to get a WNBA contract, and they're trying to use language basically saying that trans players can play, but there's no trans player for them to be able to play. So, Skeptic, what's your thoughts on that and him getting himself ejected from the game?
I think that he has an obsession that he needs to deal with. Like, the fact that you're obsessed with this topic tells me more about you than anything. Like, People that don't identify with the sex that they were assigned at birth are less than 1% of the population in the United States. The weird obsession and infatuation from conservative men to them, I think, is very interesting. I think it really is. It's like the same way that the weird red pill guys are obsessed with like body count. It seems very similar to me. Like there's something like I can't really pinpoint what this is, but I do know that there's a study that the more red a state or area district is, the more they are to watch porn with these she-males that they call, which is very interesting again because that obsession, I feel like it correlates to some type of attraction or like weird obsession, like a vanity that you have with this community that's just like no one's like doing it. Everyone went to a basketball game and they had to see this and we're like, what's going on? Like it's just kind of crazy.
I don't know about that one, Skep. You must be dealing with some former liberals or something.
No, go read the study. It's a very interesting study. The more conservative, the more red, the more that people, because they can't live out who they really are. This is why Grinder crashes every time you see an RNC meeting, because they like it. Seriously, when you have a bunch of Republicans get together for like a meeting and they're men, they make these Grinder accounts with no pictures on them and they crash Grinder. It's really wild.
R.I.P. Lindsey Graham. If you watch it right now, hit that subscribe button and press that notification bell to know when we go live. Slim, what's your final thoughts?
Oh man, good show. Y'all attack my boy as always, but you got to be grateful because he gives everyone content. Either you love him or you hate him, but he give you content if you talk about him. So salute to my president, Donald J. I'm still supporting him. I'm definitely going to see how this all plays out. Also, get right with God, man. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're scared, get right with God. If you're worried, get right with God. Don't be afraid to talk to him. I believe in him. Maybe this is probably why I'm oblivious to a lot of this nonsense out here. But at the end of the day, I'm here. I'm on earth. I'm still breathing. I thank God for every moment of that. But don't let this division consume you, because we all Americans and we all live in this one roof. But yo, Go Harder, the single drop the other day. The video was out. 85 Slim, Go Harder. Love y'all. I missed the man cave too.
Mia, what's your final thoughts?
It's been a great show. If you are not liking and subscribing, please do like and subscribe to the live. We are here Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I host Wednesdays because it's True Crime Night and there's no politics and we get to talk about fun true crime stuff. So definitely come back Wednesday at 8 for True Crime Night. And I guess my final thoughts really would be, I'm going to leave everybody with a little bit of history. If you don't know about the Weimar Republic in Germany from after the World War, 1917 to 1933, before Hitler rose to power, you need to look that up because it seems to be the timeline that the American Republic is on. So it's the Weimar Republic. Do your homework and look it up because it is very informative, and a lot of the things that are happening here with the hyperinflation, the printing of money, and so on and so forth is very, very indicative to what we are about to go through here. And I hope everybody has a good night and always stay prepared.
Grace says I'm a doomsday prepper, but I'm not really. I just like to eat food, so I make sure my house is fully stocked with food. Disclaimer.
Skeptic, what's your final thoughts?
Yeah, it was a great live. I was just about to say that. I have been looking into a lot of information with the Lindsay Clancy case, so I'm excited for Wednesday. There's so much new information that has come out, and I'm just like, I know everyone's captivated by it, so I've been talking about it too, and I'm excited for Wednesday. So tune back Wednesday at 8. I will say, I hope that I never wish, ill on a fellow American. I don't want Americans to suffer. So I hope that this man chickens out of the Canadian tariff war. I really do, because I think that regardless of whether or not they're implemented, I do think that they're going to hurt consumers. And like families are literally on the verge of like not being able to afford just the day-to-day life, just essentials. So I don't hope that on Americans. I really hope that they come to some kind of understanding so that people don't have, it's a lot of people we're talking about. It's a lot of states. So, and I think maybe more people need to be aware of this because these are our fellow Americans. It's not fair. They're going to be hit the worst. We're all going to be affected, but they're going to be hit the worst, and it's not fair. I do want to say to Gary, Indiana, I know that they have been without power. I don't know if the issue has been resolved yet, but I think that, again, we have to care for one another because we are one nation. So we should be worried about our fellow Americans and what they're going through. And if the government is not doing their job, then it is our responsibility to hold them accountable and vote them out. So just remember, midterms are 70 days away. So go out there and vote. If they've lied to you, if they're not doing what they said they were going to do, then vote them out.
For sure. We do this every Monday through Thursday. We taking this Tuesday off, so come back for Mia hosting on Wednesday night True Crime. So have a good night. New party, Man Cave.
Sisters,
We shall not yield to tyranny.
our cause just we will prevail. The fight
Hello,
for our
history
rights.
buffs. Ready for a journey back? Look at this encampment. The spirit of 76 is alive.
Bobby, at this
Hello,
point,
history.
shame on you. Shame on you. Because we are being played as the American people. Our money is funding a war that we don't need to be in. You're going to be okay with it. So as long as I have breath in my body and a mic to use, I will be speaking out against this.
A true patriot savors these moments, but the fight for liberty calls.
The economy, we have a global economy. That's why we're a number one economy in the world. I know that a lot of people want to paint the horrible view of America, but, you know, go live somewhere else and then tell me America's bad.
Patriotism is all about. Look at these flags. They represent our fight for liberty. This is what
so
American
freaking crazy to me that we have an conflict with Iran before a single person from the Epstein files has been arrested on American soil.
The hour our liberty is at hand. For freedom is brava. Brothers
I
and
was
sisters.
working, man, you know, but it's good to see Rippy out there handling business, man. And again, hey, there's a lot of black Trump supporters, man. I mean, it feels good to see them, man. So
My fellow patriots, the hour of decision is upon us. Let us march forth with courage to secure our liberty.
A real coach. People are getting sick of it. The moment a celebrity steps slightly outside the leftist approved narrative, they get attacked. Chili from TLC gets heat over allegedly donating to Donald Trump.
For liberty. The British advance. We must act.
Our supplies are low, but morale is high.
Then we fight for liberty.
Alpayne Tour captures the spirit of we fight for independence.
The
Welcome to my
that said they were anti-war. I think they said no new wars. Yeah, they voted for a president that was not going to start any new wars. And what's funny to me is that not only were you lied to, not only did this man start this and get out of the
freedom. Greetings from the encampment. The spirit of liberty is strong. We will fight for our rights and our freedom.
Just in order to get the Greater Israel Project accomplished, you have to kill people. That's why it's wrong. Killing people is wrong. Full stop. So you can try to make sense of it with, well, it's a threat and this and that. There's no greater threat than the United States empire.
Vocabulary up because I'm throwing out words like hubris, acquiesce, verbose. What are you going to do about the dichotomy of the nuance?
To the encampment. For liberty.
And what I've learned, and I'm not a liberal or a Democrat. I voted for Trump the first time, but he's become a politician. He lies like all the other politicians. He deceives like all the other politicians.
And flaming! Soldiers, the enemy is near.
Not only do I love my
FBA fam, my Black American fam, my Black people on code, you know, my people that's allies with us as part of the fam. I love y'all. I love my country too. You feel me?
The cause to victory.
To victory. These pastries are wonderful.
Indeed, but we must stay vigilant.